being here. Call the meeting to order of the Rhode Island Bridge and Turnpike Authority. The first item is any public comment. Hearing none. Next is the approval of the minutes of the January 29th, 2024, 2024, I mean 25.
Clerical error there, Chairman.
Is that duly noticed?
It's a clerical error. You can proceed with the 25 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Just note it. We'll note it for the record.
Okay, so it's noted for the record. And again, January 29th, 2025. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Next, Customer Service Department review.
And I will take that, Mr. Chair. So since the conversion to all electronic tolling, the business model for our tolling and customer service operations has changed very significantly. All of the tolling functions, from assessment of the toll all the way to collection of it, all of that is still done in-house. We're probably one of the few agencies that are members of the EasyPass group, or any of toll agencies that can still say that all functions are done in-house. We really need to do a comprehensive assessment of our operations. It's time, with this new business model in place, without toll booths, without collection at the point of service, it's time that we took a hard look at all of the functions in our toll department, the quality of customer service, the organization of the tolling workforce. All of that needs to be looked at to see what we can do better for our customers, for our workforce, for all of us, so that operations are improved. So we went to our list of on-call tolling consultants. That's contract 23-09E, on-call toll consulting services. That was dated January 4, 2024. We identified, actually Katie and I looked at the list. We looked at several as appropriate, several of the proposals that we had accepted as good companies that would be good for reach out in terms of to see if they could conduct this comprehensive study for us. After reviewing their proposals, RK&K looked to be the best suited for this project. They hit all of the boxes in terms of the types of services that they are accustomed to analyzing. The principals of RK&K are familiar with us. They have offered a plan for achieving the goal of a comprehensive evaluation, and they are important to all of us is that they are available to begin work upon approval of this task order. So once we developed the task order with RK&K, we negotiated it with them. I would say we took a heavy pen to it to make certain that we thought the appropriate number of hours. Jeff Goulart worked on it, made sure that there was an appropriate number of hours allocated to the various functions, such as speaking with our employees, looking at our metrics for answering phone calls from customers, all of that, and we ended up at a value of $109,913.93, and we are asking for a $10,000 contingency for additional work that we may require, and the purpose of asking for that contingency is that as they look at the various parts of our tolling operations, there may be something that needs a deeper dive. There may be some aspect of it, so we wanted to have a little bit of extra money that available. So I'm asking that the board consider approving a task order in the amount not to exceed $109,913.93 plus a $10,000 contingency. Happy to answer any questions.
Just a positive comment. I think this is we get a great return of investment on this money to satisfy our customers. I think that's paramount of what we're doing right now.
Karen, anything?
That's what we're about, right?
Right.
Service.
Yeah, so I think, I'd like to compliment and commend you, Laurie, for bringing this forward and getting it going, because I think it's overdue. So, that being said, do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Peter, seconded by Karen. Discussion, hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Next Next item on the agenda is the Narragansett Electric Company lease agreement.
I'll take that one. Ripper staff requests approval to enter into a lease agreement with the Narragansett Electric Company. That's a name we haven't heard in a long time, but it's valid. In substantially the form presented. Key elements of the agreement are as follows. Use of a 2,150 square foot area of unimproved, undeveloped real property in Tiverton, Rhode Island, as shown on the attached exhibit, as a storage area for docks and other lessee property. The term is only for 6 months. Financial benefits to RIPA is a lump sum payment of $13,200. Lessee shall maintain the premises in such condition as the same are at the commencement of the term. Lessee shall make no alterations or improvements to the premises or construct any building on the premises. Lessee shall allow lessor to enter upon and inspect any part of the premises at all reasonable times. For insurance, the lessee is to obtain and maintain insurance coverage as outlined in the lease agreement, which could be self-insurance. Indemnification, the lessee shall defend, indemnify, and hold harmless lessor as outlined in the lease agreement. So we are recommending that we enter into this lease agreement in the amount of $15,200.
Questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Charles, go ahead.
Charles?
Step up.
Motion by Charles, seconded by Peter.
Sure.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right. Next is the Newport Pell Effort Grant Project.
I'll take that one as well. RIPA staff requested HDR, the selected program manager for the Newport Pell Infra Grant Project Bundle, to prepare a second task order and fee for program management services for the design and construction of these projects. The Board of Directors previously authorized task order 1 for HDR to perform some initial work in the amount not to exceed $63,264.47, and subsequently pre-authorized $150,000 to continue working while developing the subject task order 2. HDR submitted the attached proposal in the amount not to exceed $3,314,474 to include all anticipated program management tasks for the remainder of the design and construction schedule for the infra projects, this includes the pre-authorized $150,000. RIPA staff has reviewed and negotiated the proposal and consider the final version to be reasonable. The task order will be shared with FHWA with a brief explanation of the review and negotiation process for their concurrence and records. RIPA staff recommends approval to execute the task order and fee with HDR in the amount not to exceed $3,313,474, pending Federal Highways review and concurrence.
Questions?
Peter, comment? I've looked at this carefully, and I want to compliment the staff on putting this together, because I'm not sure if it's evident here, but this is going to govern our review of all the construction we do for the next, 4 or 5 years?
4 or 5 years, yeah.
Yep.
Almost 5
So
years.
this is an important document, and the deliverables are really well defined, and the support in order to oversee all of that construction, including the new design consultants for each of the tasks. So this is very key to successful operation overall for the next 4 or 5 years. And I think it's well put together and well documented.
Thank you. Further questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve as submitted? Motion by Peter, seconded by Karen. Charles? Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Next, the Jamestown Verrazano Bridge routine inspection.
Yeah, I'll take that one as well. As you know, Federal Highway requires routine bridge inspections every 2 years. Jamestown Verrazano Bridge is due this May, on May 17, 2025. The inspection will follow the National Bridge Inspection Standards and is very detailed and labor intensive. On December 11th, the Board of Directors approved awarding the next routine inspection of the Jamestown Verrazano Bridge to Majeski and Masters in the amount not to exceed $619,985. Federal Highway is transitioning to a new SNBI, that stands for Standards for National Bridge Inventory Method, of bridge inspection and data collection. Since the execution of the M&M task order, Federal Highway updated the implementation schedule for SNBI transition. The first phase requires collection of SNBI data for any bridges inspected beginning March of 2025. The extra data collection was not required under the former NBIS method, so RIPA staff discussed the extra effort required with M&M and requested a task order amendment proposal to perform the extra work. So the extra scope is to provide structural inventory and appraisal updates in the AASHTO Ware bridge management system, as well as collect and provide any additional data required to comply with the new federal and state requirements outlined in the specifications for the SNBI and RIDOT standards. M&M submitted a task order amendment in the amount not to exceed $10,369. RIPA staff recommends approving this task order amendment to Majeski and Masters in the amount not to exceed $10,369.
Questions, comments? Hearing none,
Seems like something we have to do, obviously, but it seems crazy that we had already awarded a bid, that we would be held to this.
Yeah. It was basically right after that last approval where RIDOT requested to have a meeting to go over some of the new standards. And when the new schedule came out, nobody realized that all of a sudden we were gonna have to collect all this extra data starting in March of this year. So we said, well, now we're gonna go back for an amendment. But moving forward now, we know that this is gonna be included. So it'll just be the new procedure moving forward. It will obviously result in additional inspection costs moving forward with the new standard, but this is a national thing. You know, it's not just us, it's everybody in the whole country that's going to be held to these new standards. For obvious reasons, probably,
Yeah.
you know, as we've heard a lot of bridge incidents
Makes
over the years.
sense,
So,
yeah.
okay. Further comments, questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Karen, do I have a second? Second by Charles. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Next, Alex Avenue Bridge Routine Inspection.
I'll take that one as well. I'll shorten this up since this basically follows the last one. We also, you folks approved on December 11th a task order to do the routine inspection of Hummocks Ave Bridge with Green International affiliates in the amount not to exceed $9,453.40. So for the same reasons I outlined on the previous item, we asked Green International to submit a task amendment to take care of the new data collection that is required. They submitted this task amendment in the amount not to exceed $1,160.50. And RIPA staff recommends approving this task amendment to Green International Affiliates Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $1,160.50.
Questions, comments? No. I have a motion to approve. Motion by Karen, seconded by Peter. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is Newport Pell Infra Deck Rehab Design and Construction Support Services.
Yes, I'll take that one as well. This one we're very excited to get moving on. RIPA staff requested Majeski and Masters, the selected consultant for the Newport Pell Infra Grant Project Deck Rehabilitation Design and Construction Support Services to prepare a task order and fee for design and construction support services for the project. M&M submitted the attached proposal in the amount not to exceed $1,374,227. RIPA staff and HDR, the program manager, reviewed and negotiated the proposal and considered the final version to be reasonable. The task order will be shared with Federal Highway with a brief explanation of the review and negotiation process for the concurrence and records. And RIPA staff recommends approval to execute the task order and fee with M&M in the amount not to exceed $1,374,227, pending Federal Highway's review and concurrence.
Comments?
The only comment that I would like to make is that the deck rehabilitation on the Pell is obviously the first phase of the infra grant, the $82.5 million infra grant, and we had already done part of the deck rehabilitation. We stopped the work several years ago to allow the RIDOT to address the ramp into the city of Newport. We didn't want both projects going on at the same time. Plus, at the time, we also had not received the infra grant. So it was a matter of making certain that it fit properly in our capital plan and our plan of finance that matches our capital plan. So we're very happy. We do get, I raised this because we do get calls and we do from motorists saying, when are you going to finish? We love we love when we hit the point on the bridge where we're on a smooth surface. When are you going to finish the project? And the answer is now.
Good.
Mr. Chair, if I may, also one thing I noticed that we did not put in cover sheets is for the HDR and this task order, 60% of that is covered by a federal grant.
Good point.
Okay. Further discussion, comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Peter, seconded by Karen. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you. Next, capital projects.
Yeah, I'll take that as well. Phase 2 AET construction out in front here. The good news on this project is that the eastbound lanes will be open in their final configuration by the end of the day today, which will include the acceleration ramp for the on-ramp and the removal of the stop sign condition that exists today. This is something that, many people, especially the locals, have been looking forward to. We also approved a no-cost time extension to the final completion of the project of May 22nd. That was due to weather delays and the added work of the bridge deck replacement and some of the other added work on structure E that was added into the project. There was no cost to us, but Lynch asked for a 3-week extension on the final completion, which will include all of the cleanup out in front here in the old toll plaza. Mount Hope Bridge design for the dehumidification project. We're still finalizing the documents back and forth between RIPA, AECOM, and RIDOT. RIDOT needs to review everything because of the congressionally directed spending funding, and they're the pass-through for that funding, so everything has to go to them. And we've been going back and forth trying to get final comments on that. So the other piece to this is the unknown is we don't know if we can go to bid yet because we haven't heard back on the Protect grant on getting the agreement finalized. Jeff's been in contact with Federal Highway on trying to get that signed. They will not sign it yet, but we believe it's in the final condition to be signed. So we're still kind of a little bit in limbo as to whether we can even go out to bid yet, even once we get the documents finalized. So hopefully we get some resolution on that, or at least get approval from Federal Highway to at least go to bid, even if we don't award a contract. Maybe we can get the bid process going. Standard bid process in Rhode Island is 28 days. We anticipate that we'll put it off for 28 days. We anticipate contractors may reach out and ask for an extension, which we think will be reasonably granted because of the complex nature of the project. So you could be looking at closer to a 2-month bid process anyways on the project. So we would like to get that going if we can.
When do you think you'll hear?
I don't know, you haven't heard any?
I haven't. I reach out to them twice a week, and they're basically saying they're in limbo.
Yeah. We're hopeful that because of the nature of our project, we know that Protect Grant was one of the targeted programs by the new administration, but our project truly is bridge preservation. So we're hopeful that when they start to look at the actual projects, this will fall out of, not being a clean energy type project or anything of that nature. It's truly bridge preservation. I mean, it's clear when you look at the scope of the project. So hopefully we can get this clarified and move on at some point soon. Rubberized asphalt chip seal design for Mount Hope Bridge. We just had a meeting yesterday to go over the new plan on this. The new plan for this, after we met with the chip seal company several months back, the new plan is to micro mill the entire bridge deck surface to basically so-called take off the high spots. Because if you chip seal over what's there, it's just basically painting over a rough surface. So we've reconfigured the project to a micro mill. We anticipate with this micro mill, it will leave many areas that will have to be repaired because of the way the deck has been delaminating. So we're structuring the specifications in such a way that the micro mill gets done at night. They're going to have to immediately follow with an asphalt patching crew to basically restore any holes in the bridge deck. We're going to try not to chase things too much. It'll be removal of loose pieces of concrete, blowing out the holes, get the loose material out, fill with hot mix asphalt, roll it out level, and then once that's done for both bounds, we then follow with chip seal. The contract that, once we get the contract and put it out to bid, it'll be structured so that we assume 25% of the deck area may need repairs, and then we're gonna add an allowance for an additional 25%, so that if it expands, we have some ability to backfill with, some more quantity. Because once they start this, they're gonna have to keep going. We're anticipating, we'd like to get this done within about a week's time. It's highly weather dependent for a chip seal. You have to have, I think, about 3 days of dry weather. So it's the potential for it to lag is really weather dependent. If all goes well, they probably can complete it within a week to a week and a half. So this project's got some unknowns, but we don't really have a choice. We've had a lot of inquiries. I have 2 more people to call back after this board meeting. We've had phone calls, what's going on with the Mount Hope Bridge deck. We've had emails, what's going on with the Mount Hope Bridge deck. I've gotten back to several of them, and I'm just very open with them. Said, listen, we understand that the deck condition is not great. However, it's safe. It's really wearing surface related only. And then I basically have described our short-term plan to basically restore some rideability, and then our long-term plan to put out an RFQ for basically deck replacement for the longer term. And they've seemed very satisfied when I get done, laying out what our plan is.
When do you anticipate this?
We'd like to go to bid within several weeks, so we've asked them to get the finalized documents to us this Friday. We're gonna give a final review, put in all our dates, and then as soon as everything's finalized, we will be able to post it and put it out to bid. So the chip seal can only be done between the beginning of June and the end of August. That's what all states which does chip seal has told us, and that's because of the weather. Temperature requirements and water requirements, as far as having no water on the bridge deck surface. Those are the 3 months out of the year that they can do chip seal. So we're going to have that all in the specifications so that people realize this has to happen, between these 3 months. So all this other work has to happen just before it. So the two pieces that are really crucial is scheduling the micro milling machines, which can be a scheduling issue, trying to get a machine on site, and also scheduling with the chip seal company. So those are the 2 big issues. When we put this out to bid, we're going to have to do, we've already discussed it, we're going to do a big outreach to these contractors to encourage bids. We really want to get some contractors, people like Lynch out here, those types of people who, they'll hire the chip seal company as a sub, they'll probably hire a micro milling company as a sub, but they can backfill with all the patching and manage the project. So that's what we're going to do when we put it out. Yeah. Compression link, good news on this one. Mohawk is going to start the work on March 21st. So this is a long weekend operation. Starts on a Friday and ends on the following Monday. So their plan is to do this between 321 and 324. This is the actual replacement of the compression link. So this is good. We've been leading up to this. There's been a lot of shop drawing activity going back and forth. They're going to be on site doing some pre-work on 310, but the meat of the work will happen this weekend. On 321 to 324. The infra program management, we just talked about a couple of task orders on this. The other unknown on this one again is the infra funds. We don't know what the status is of the infra funds, if they're still frozen. We have done, one reimbursement, Jeff, through the program before everything kind of came into limbo. We haven't heard whether we can submit any further reimbursements, but we understand even if this is kind of in limbo, we do have to get this deck project going. So now with the approval of the task order, we'll be able to get that moving at least. Steel repairs and joint replacement design for Fishing Pier Access Bridge and Jamestown Verrazano Bridge. We're at 90% design. We're moving towards 100% design on this project. I'll update you more on that when we get closer to bid documents. New roofs and HVAC design. We just had a pre-construction meeting for the HVAC yesterday. They are going to start doing some of the pre-work while they order the equipment. They're going to probably do some wiring and putting in any type of power requirements that will have to be put in. They'll come in and do a lot of pre-work ahead of time, and then once the units come in, which they're saying is a 14-week lead time with possibly a shorter lead time once they get the orders in, they'll come in and do the actual swap of the units. Safety measures feasibility study for the Newport Bridge and Sakana River Bridge is complete and has been shared with several folks that have inquired about it. As I may have mentioned before, the result is that no barrier is being recommended for Newport Pell Bridge, but Secana River Bridge could have a barrier if somebody wanted to put one on. Low ratings and inspections continue. I'd like to just mention on Mount Hope Bridge, during the routine inspection, which is complete, the report's being written, they found a crack in one of the deck stringers. It is not an emergency, and it's not an oh my God type of concern. The deck string is a part of the entire deck system. So we talked with the consultant and said, what do we need to do? They came up with a repair detail, which basically is installation of a shim, which gets welded in place and it stops the crack from propagating any further. So we've already reached out through the consultant. They're gonna have a scaffold company put in some temporary scaffolding because we've tried to get access with our equipment in this particular location we can't get to. And our catwalk ends about 10 feet from it. So they're gonna come in and they're gonna basically supplement our catwalk with a temporary scaffold. We'll be able to do the repair internally with our maintenance folks. We have our on-site welder. We'll put it all in, then the scaffold company will come out, remove the scaffolding, and everything will be good to go. So, just wanted to get that out there, you'll be hearing more about it, because there will be some activity. That'll probably happen in the spring. We need a little time to get under there and basically wash off any of the salt that's collected on the bridge underneath from the winter operations before we start doing work on this. And that's about it. A lot of updates.
Thank you, Eric. Next, financial report, Jeff?
With respect to year-to-date revenue, while traffic exceeded budget by 5.5%, revenue was only higher by $464,000 or 2%. This is due to the pause in invoicing for the pay-by-plate customers due to the implementation of the new back office. We continue to look at ways to reduce our operating expenses. As an example, we entered into an agreement with Ocean where they are providing us circuits to use for free in the swap for some fiber across the Newport Pell Bridge. This process is now complete and will save the authority approximately $500,000 over the 10-year term of the agreement. Additionally, we are receiving a total of $51,000 of credits on our workers' compensation premium due to our annual audit of payroll, $13,000 as a result of the employees using the Virgin Pulse app, and an additional estimated $20,000 due to the dividend declared by Beacon Mutual. When compared to budget, overall operating expenses are lower by $600,000 or 8%, and this is primarily due to the timing of the bridge inspections and lower personnel expenses as a result of open positions. And if you have any questions regarding the detail I provided, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Just a general question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Have you seen or do you expect to see an increase in the revenues because of a lot of companies are now going towards no remote work and require everybody to actually come in?
I believe the base actually in the last month or two is now requiring that, so I would expect that. And also, I would
not measurable yet.
It's hard because we don't know, whether the increased traffic, we don't know whether it's due to the Washington Bridge. We don't know if it's due to return, but I think everything added up, there'll be some lift as a result of that. I think the key thing over the next couple months is, even though Katie's not here, Jamie may be able to respond. I don't want to put you on the hook, but we have probably 2.5 to 3 months of pay-by-plate customer traffic, and that's quite a bit that hasn't been billed. So as of about 2 months ago, we were at almost $3 million better than budget, and right now we're only at $500,000 because we haven't invoiced that. So we should see that coming on in February, March, and April. So in that time frame, we will be much better than budget.
I'll save my question for a little bit down the road.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Next, Executive Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a nice segue because on the first item I have here is the transition to the new Easy Pass back office system. The transition is going much more smoothly now. We are still identifying issues. The company is being responsive. They've been on site when we needed them. They've been accessible when we need them. We're continuing to make certain that the system is working as it should, and we have resumed invoicing, so, of the bill-by-plate customers. And we are doing it in controlled phases, because obviously when we generate invoices, that generates phone calls, that generates visits to our walk-in center, it generates traffic on our website. So we want to make certain, that we do it right. That's the most important thing, is that we send invoices that are properly reflecting the transactions that people have had. So Jeff will see revenue coming in now, the invoices are going out, and we are seeing all of what I just mentioned. We're seeing all of the response to the fact that invoices are now, and we are catching up for these months when we were making certain that our new system was working properly. So all of that is good. Customer service initiatives, we have quite a few. You've all now probably become familiar with this new term of smishing, which is a national issue, as in you've seen Lester Holt, I believe, did a segment on it on the news. Someone else did a national segment. It is nationwide. We have not been spared. People, the most important message that we're getting out to the customers are, number one, we do not text you for payment, so you know it's a scam. Number two, the phone numbers that are receiving these texts are random. They did not come from us, and that's very important that our customers know that there has been no breach here, that their phone numbers were not leaked by us in any way. They're random numbers that are receiving this. It seems like Massachusetts has been hit the hardest. If you get another of these smishing texts, and if you read it carefully, you will usually see somewhere in that link that they want you to click, and then you will all not click, but you'll see Easy Drive Mass, Easy Drive MA, which is the Massachusetts Easy Pass agency. It seems that even though the people are receiving these calls in Nebraska and every state you could think of, very often it's connected to a Mass Easy Drive link. Unfortunately for Mass, but we're all we actually have a campaign starting today that reminding people not to click, and that it's not us if you're receiving a text. Unfortunately, this is burdening our phone system. We are getting phone calls, and we would rather have our customer service reps answering substantive questions about the invoices that are going out now, or your Easy Pass account, helping people. And unfortunately, some of our resources are going toward this smishing campaign, which we hope at some point will go away, but it doesn't seem to be going away soon. So we have put in a queue management app. I sent a picture, I think, as part of the board materials of the screen in the walk-in center. It looked like the greatest idea to us, but you can't always count on how people want to respond. The other day we had everyone milling around outside. The sun was shining. No one wanted to sit in their car. So, and wait for their turn. There also seems, I sort of walked among the customers and said, what's the issue? We put this beautiful app in, you use your phone to scan the QR code, you wait in your car, and several people said, well, we're afraid of being cut in line. And they said, we're going to have to, it'll take a little bit to build up trust with our customers. So we're hoping that the queue management app works out, but sometimes we have to be flexible, and Jamie this morning said, we may not use it for a period of time just because we can better handle the customer base in the walk-in center, sometimes without it, depending upon what the situation is with how many people we have working and how many people we have waiting. So that's another thing. The great news, we are currently now having the walk-in center open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 to 4. As you know, it used to close at 1. So we had some unhappy customers here in the afternoon. We have been open now until 4, and then starting on March 17th, Monday, March 17th, we will be open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 in the walk-in center. So that's good news too. So, and our next board meeting is currently scheduled for March 12th. 2025.
Thank you, Lori. Questions, comments?
Just a little follow-up from last month. We talked about the ability to eject batteries on transponders.
Yes.
And you were going to deploy some at AAA.
Yes.
Where's that stand?
They have not been deployed yet, but the company that will provide those looked for the least expensive mechanism, because there are several different devices that will do that, and found us, and has made a recommendation as to which machine is the right one. And we'll put those probably in the 3 highest performing AAA offices, the ones that get the most traffic, and that probably would be Middletown, Salt Pond Plaza in Narragansett, and Cranston. So 2 or 3 of those will have the battery testing equipment soon.
And we'll let folks know when.
And absolutely, we will let people know. when
That's
we-
great. I think that's a good initiative.
I think so too.
Further questions or comments? Hearing none, motion to adjourn. Motion, seconded, discussion. Okay, have a good day, everyone.